Around Dulles Airport up toward the Potomac, Maryland area, moving on in toward the city, so keep that in mind. And the line of storms extends up toward York County, Pennsylvania as well, and that cell is a severe one, so Philadelphia could see some heavy rain before the evening is over. Otherwise, as we get toward the morning hours, just the typical warm, humid thunder showers in the southeast, although that hasn't been very typical this year so far. Areas of the front struggling to make the East Coast. That high pressure over Michigan is a very weak one, so there is going to be some slight cooling around Detroit, Indianapolis, Columbus, and Pittsburgh, with a reduction in humidity as well. But as we move to the west, we pick up the rain again around Wisconsin on in toward the Minneapolis-St. Paul area of Minnesota. Warm night ahead throughout the southeast, cool in the northwest. There are your temperatures for Tuesday. A little bit more like it. Nothing in the way of extremely hot temperatures in the southeast. Some 90s though into Oklahoma and Kansas. A cooler 70s across the Great Lakes, looking good there as well as the west, but still hot in the desert southwest.
The 36-hour forecast. Forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Temperatures will start to cool down somewhat along the Great Lakes and the mid-Atlantic states, looking at temperatures only in the 80s. Quite a change from the triple digits we've been seeing the past several days in the northeast, even some cooler 70s towards the upper Great Lakes, and some nice pleasant 60s and some 50s towards Washington and Oregon. The Sacramento Valley could find some hot temperatures again into the 90s and triple digits through Thursday. Still looking at some warm temperatures in the Great Lakes. On into the Ohio Valley, 90s working their way back towards the north, and still mild along the Great Lakes and to the extreme northeast. Still very hot in the southwest into interior sections of California. We could find some scattered thunderstorms in the upper Midwest and in the southeast towards Cape Hatteras, the nation's capital, and Florida could find themselves with a rainy Wednesday into Thursday. Not much of a problem out west, but when you move towards the Plain States, you can find some scattered afternoon thunderstorms. New England, no problems on Thursday. Florida may dry out somewhat on Thursday. Into Friday, the eastern United States could find some showery weather, especially in New England. Scattered thunderstorms towards the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the Rockies could find themselves with an afternoon thunderstorm.
And it's moving to the west-northwest at about 12 miles per hour. It's weakened during the day. This almost made hurricane strength, but it never really did. And the winds are down from 70 to 65 miles per hour as it continues its west-northwest track. It's going to lose intensity. It's hitting some colder water. So we really are not worrying about that particular system. Nor are we worrying too much about at least the central and northern Gulf of Mexico. Of course, we're certainly concerned about the showers over Texas, which have been hanging around all day and causing some flooding in that general region. But as we go into the Caribbean, we find a couple of tropical waves. This one is not of much concern between the Bahamas and down into parts of the Hispaniola area. That's moving to the northwest, but the pressures, the air pressures are very high in the southern Bahamas, so we don't expect much intensification with that one. But there is another tropical wave. It's interacting with an upper low here off the Central American coast, off of Guatemala. It looked for a while like it was moving to the west and would actually cross over Central America and move into the eastern Pacific. But over the last few hours, it's taking more of a northwesterly track. So we're going to keep our eye on the western Gulf of Mexico. If this does go more to the north than the west, certainly that'll be of concern to us on that particular system. Now, out into the Atlantic, we're looking at a couple of tropical waves. This one we've been following off Africa all week. But there's not a lot of thunderstorm activity around the center of that particular wave. So unless that does happen, this one will not intensify. Another wave off of Africa, again, not much of concern. This is very early in the year for the Cape Verde storms to form, so until then we'll just see tropical waves out of Africa. Maybe about a month from now we'll see more development.
They've seen as much as 10 inches of rain today alone in some areas. The Guadalupe River near Hunt is expected to overshoot its flood stage, so please watch out for that. And the Medina River near Bandera expected to exceed its flood bank, so please watch out in sections of the Edwards Plateau. Rainy weather back towards Arkansas and Memphis, Tennessee, and back towards the nation's capital, towards Maine, northern Rockies, and central sections of the plains. Until 9 p.m., a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the area shaded in yellow. Another one until 10 p.m. Eastern Time for the nation's capital, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Could find some severe thunderstorms also in the northern plains and in the northeastern sections of the country. And the windy weather could be in parts of the northeast and around Las Vegas, Nevada.
This summer, make sure you vacation on Michelin. And if you're riding on all-season XA4s, they'll take you up to 60,000 miles, rain or shine. If you think that's a lot of miles, wait till you see the XH. It's Michelin's longest-lasting tire. So get going, get Michelin, and see America this summer.
Find Michelin tires at a dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
On the Tuesday noon edition of Drought Watch, you're invited to phone in your questions about crop survival during this dry weather. Our guest is irrigation engineer Kerry Harrison, Tuesday at noon Eastern Time.
The 36-hour forecast. Regional forecast. Special regional information. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
Your forecast for tomorrow. First stop, the northeast, and you could find a few passing showers of relief from the heat around the nation's capital and Philadelphia. Here are your low temperatures, and tomorrow afternoon, 92 the nation's capital, 88 in New York City, and Pittsburgh, 79. Scattered showers from eastern Texas on towards the Tennessee Valley, the mid-Atlantic states. Temperatures overnight, 76 in New Orleans, 77 in Houston, 88 tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia, 94 in Norfolk, Virginia. Some rain for the Plain States and towards the Tennessee Valley, but sunshine for the Great Lakes. 62 tonight in the Twin Cities, 60 in Chicago, 64 in Cleveland. Tomorrow afternoon, 80 in Bismarck, 85 in St. Louis, 81 in Indianapolis. Some scattered showers about sections of the Rockies into Montana, but sunshine for the West Coast. 52 in San Francisco, 53 in Seattle. Tomorrow, 88 in Salt Lake City, 106 in both Las Vegas and Phoenix, 78 in Los Angeles. Now we'll look at your local forecast.
The current conditions. Regional forecast. The 36-hour forecast. tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
This is Weather Watch.
About 1 minute past the top of the hour. We're color coordinated tonight. I'm Dennis Smith alongside Cindy Prezler. You liked it, eh?
Yeah, we're both in peach tonight.
I had to plug mine in before I recharge the batteries before I got on
did you?
there.
I'm glad you did that just for me, Dennis. Let's go ahead and take a look at those temperatures coming up for the next few days. And it's going to continue to be hot. Therefore, peach would be a good color to wear. It's a nice light pastel color. You want to stay cool. Temperatures in the 90s across the south on Wednesday. Desert Southwest around 100. Look how cool it is in the northeast, though. We'll only be in the 70s, warming up to the 80s again by Friday. And, of course, we have to have some rain to go along with the heat. The west coast will be dry. Isolated showers and thunderstorms from the plain states down to the southwest, the southeast. This is good news. That's exactly where we need the rain, the Tennessee Valley. Then on Thursday, more widely scattered showers and thunderstorms pushing to the east a little bit more across the Great Lakes. Northeast will be dry. And on Friday, that will slide south a little bit farther. Georgia, Alabama, southern portions will be dry. Down into Florida, you might pick up a widely scattered shower or thunderstorm. Of course, most of these will take place in the afternoon and early evening hours.
Time once again to check out the evening extravaganza. Looks like the heat and the humidity getting to a lot of folks. The heat very, very dry. The dry conditions continue over the southwest and northern plains and back into the southeast. Where you see the orange and red, that represents severe to extreme drought. Now, this isn't taking into effect just the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, but a couple of years. And even though we've seen some beneficial rains in some spots in the country, still it takes quite a bit to break this drought's back. For example, here's what you would need: a minimum amount of rainfall across the country as far as to end the drought. In the southeast, see the legend, 10 to 15 inches. Up in the northern plains, as much as 8 to 10, and even back out in the southwest parched United States, they need still as much as 6 to 10 inches. By the way, San Antonio, just northwest of them today, they picked up as much as 8 to 10 inches of rainfall in just today. Let's look at a satellite review, show you what's going on across the country. There we can show how the clouds continue to build up, especially right over here in south central Texas, right around San Antonio. Now those thunderstorms are diminishing. That's good news. But throughout most of the sequence of photographs, we can see this little cells parked right over there, a complex of cells, and the end result is spelling out lots of problems, flooding along the Guadalupe as well as Medina rivers, especially in Kerr and Kimball counties, even through Real County. So be extra careful. There'll be some flooding along the Gonzales as well as the Guadalupe, I should say. The Guadalupe and Medina rivers is the main problem. We continue to see showers and thunderstorms widely scattered in this hot, steamy air mass in the southeast. We're starting to get it together around the nation's capital for some heavy downpours, and also in the northwest, seeing a cool, light rain that's been showing up throughout the northwest quadrant of the country just about all day. As we check out the National Digital Radar, boy, it is coming alive. Yellow and red indicating some of the heavier thunderstorms in progress. Let's go ahead and check out some local spots. Our first go around into the Harrisburg area, seeing in southeast Pennsylvania from Williamsport to approaching the Bethlehem Allentown area, all the way down to around Frederick, Maryland, and that's moving into the nation's capital down to actually around Charlottesville. Some of these thunderstorms, very heavy rainfall and frequent lightning, unfortunately coming through just about rush hour time, so it may pose some problems for your commute home. So please drive carefully in that area, and they're moving on off towards the east-northeast. Out of Macon, Georgia, we're finding the rain, and as Cindy and I were discussing, it seems like it's going around the Atlanta area. It seems like it's all over Georgia. But from Athens to Savannah, from Waycross to Albany to Macon to missing Atlanta, it all continues to track to the northeast. Next radar stop will take us into Norfolk and Nebraska, seeing the thunderstorms still continue around the O'Neill area from Grand Island to Norfolk, and will continue to slip on off towards the east-northeast. Out of Little Rock, lots of thunderstorms exploding this afternoon. They're now moving into around the Jonesboro area from Blytheville back to around Little Rock and moving into Memphis. Some very hefty thunderstorms with heavy downpours tracking northeast. Our action radar will take us out of Portland, Maine, where a severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect. Looks like the heaviest of thunderstorms through Waldo County into around the Bangor and Old Town area. A little bit of a diminishing on the return as far as the thunderstorms in that immediate area over the last hour, but for the most part may put out some gusty winds and heavy downpours. National map quickly showing you the rain, the showers and thunderstorms widely scattered. It's nice to see a map showing up with lots of green on it. meaning there is some rainfall to be had out there. Scattered clouds, a lot of it in the east, but in the west, pretty quiet, especially Arizona, back through California, Nevada. They're coping with the heat. 102 in Las Vegas, 93 right now in Brownsville, 89 in Chicago, 93 in the nation's capital, back down from their record. And the heat index, oh, it is uncomfortable. 101 plus down in Jackson. In fact, let's show you some scenes out of the nation's capital today. People were doing their best to keep cool in that record heat. In fact, record all the way from Philadelphia with 100, nation's capital up to 98. And it looks like the haze and the ozone, very dangerous right now. So please be extra careful and be prepared. We'll be back with more on the Weather Channel after this.